Welcome to Growth Gatherings. Today, we are joined by someone who spent nearly 3 decades working with small and medium enterprise in Pakistan, across Africa, and Saudi Arabia. Atif Malik. He's currently the Chief Operating Officer at JS Bank, leading some of the key initiatives for the bank. Welcome, Atif.
Thank you, Fariha. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
You were a research associate at Labs,
Yeah.
and then you somehow transitioned into banking. Now you're a Chief Operating Officer at JS Bank.
Yeah.
Walk us through your career journey and your career choices.
In fact, I've not been making a lot of choices in my career. I've been going with the flow. So I started off with LUMS as a research associate, worked there for almost 3 years. Then there was this organization called SMEDA.
Hmm.
The organization started off from LUMS as a concept.
Is
So
it?
yes, exactly.
Oh.
So I was sucked into that, and
Hmm.
then I was the first employee of SMEDA as well. We developed the concept, presented,
So
got approved,
SMETA is small
and
and
Medium
medium.
Enterprise Development
Hmm.
Authority. So I transitioned from. It was not a major transition because it was again research driven.
Hmm.
So from LUMS to SMEDA, and then after working with SMEDA for almost 5 years, I moved into banking. So initial 8 years were with academia, research, and then I moved into banking.
Other one thing, so small and medium enterprise, because one thing which is sort of a perception about the banking industry that, of course, they want big corporates, blue chip
Mhm.
corporates, but there's a lot of focus, the economy that we have on building these small and medium sized enterprise. So when you started at SMEDA, what was the mandate? And today, when you look back, how do
Mhm.
you see how far have we come? How successful are we on that agenda?
Mhm. I think the objective of creating SPEEDA was very clear to
Hmm.
develop export-oriented SMEs.
Hmm.
Okay, and then there were like certain sectors selected, and then teams were created around those sectors
Yeah.
to carry out value chain analysis,
Hmm.
and then come up with strategies which were supposed to be implemented. But then 1 year down the line, it was what happened was that the government was toppled, and we had a new regime in place. So the
Hmm.
whole direction of the organization changed
Oh.
within a year's time. Uh, so it moved from SMEs to large scale
Acha.
sectors.
Huh.
Like, the government wanted to come up with a strategy for textile sector.
Hmm.
Then they also wanted to come up with a strategy for the engineering sector.
Hmm.
In fact, there was indirect focus on SMEs, but major focus became, was got changed or shifted from SMEs directly to developing the sectoral strategies and plans by
Hmm.
involving all stakeholders. So there was a trickle down effect for SMEs, but
Huh.
overall objective was slightly,
Hmm.
or the focus changed
Hmm.
within a short span of a year after the establishment of the organization.
Hmm.
But then afterwards, for doing these sectoral strategies, which were also critical for the
Hmm.
economic development of the country, because textile was
Huh.
and still is
Still is.
67
Huh.
70% of the exports. So that was also important. But then after doing that for a couple of years with the Ministry of Commerce and Industries, we were able to pivot the organization to be a more service delivery organization for SMEs. So we
Hmm.
came up with these pre-feasibility studies for various sectors to
Hmm.
set up new
Hmm.
businesses for startups, providing them counseling in terms of how
Hmm.
to set up businesses,
Hmm.
offering them trainings and
Hmm.
all those things.
So talking about SMEDA, what do you think? What is their role right now?
So I think that again, after a lapse of almost 10, 15 years,
Hmm.
they've again become active.
Acha.
They are actively working with the regulator, State Bank of Pakistan,
Hmm.
and the government on the SME policy. They did that work a few years back. Now it's like, they have shown their active involvement there.
Hmm.
So I think it's slightly back on the rails,
Hmm.
but still there's a lot which can be done by making it more effective so that it has more linkages with the SMEs directly.
Hmm.
It is able to offer some tangible
Hmm.
services to the sector. So that is still lacking there, which I'm sure with the existing government's focus on
Hmm.
SMEs, because Prime Minister is very keen on developing
Huh. Huh.
SMEs, and we keep on getting these messages from the State Bank of
Hmm.
Pakistan, because everything is conveyed to State
Hmm.
Bank that this is the financial
Hmm.
interventions which are required from the the banking sector,
Hmm.
those are actually passed on to the banks through the regulator. So that's something that is being done very effectively, and that's the right way, I guess.
Okay, excellent. Good to know that. Now,
Hmm.
coming back to your career journey. So, you
Yeah,
were with Smeta,
yeah.
and then what
I
happened?
joined a bank called Union Bank.
Yes?
They were in the process of setting up their SME function.
Acha.
So I was a part of that. So we were the first one to come up with उस ज़माने में जो प्रोग्राम लेंडिंग नहीं होती थी बैंकों से,
Hmm.
so we came up with branded and products targeting SMEs.
Hmm.
जैसे हमने टेक्सटाइल्स के लिए एक प्रोडक्ट की
Hmm.
for weaving sector called ताना बाना.
Hmm.
Obviously started off with a small portfolio,
Hmm.
primarily focusing on the fabric manufacturers of Faisalabad. But it was a very, it was program lending. We did sectoral research, determined their needs, what kind of financial needs are
Hmm.
there, and then packaged that product around that.
Hmm.
So the process was very different from how you underwrite a typical entity
Huh.
in a financial institution, because it was based on a sectoral exposure. So
Hmm.
that was something that we did, and we rolled out several other products targeting other sectors. Then I moved on to Saudi,
Hmm.
worked in Al Raji Bank.
Hmm.
Again, they had actually
Hmm.
engaged McKinsey to
Hmm.
do a study of how to set up a SME division there within Al Raji. So I got involved there. We set up their SME division.
Acha.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What
So
was
so
the difference sorry, what was the difference you found sort of running an SME unit in Pakistan and then moving to Saudi from a government, from a general direction perspective?
I think generally people create perceptions and through various sources or
Hmm.
whatever. But I've worked in Saudi. I think the market was very receptive at that point in time. Even other stakeholders like regulator, they were very receptive.
Hmm.
So everybody was very forthcoming, and they wanted to do it, and
Hmm.
it was actually very well received.
Hmm.
And this I'm talking about 2005-6.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think it's like the same everywhere,
Hmm.
because whenever we try to do something new, obviously general there is some sort of resistance
Hmm.
or friction, which is pretty natural. But then people get to know, and once they become familiar with
Hmm.
that particular initiative, it grows on them.
Hmm.
So
So, sorry, from a
uh,
risk perspective,
yeah.
because SME particularly उसके बारे में there is a perception or even people are I mean the banks are conservative
Hmm.
कि उनको commercial lending के point of view से. So how do you see that or has it evolved also over a period of time?
It has evolved, I guess.
Hmm.
पहले बहुत ज़्यादा डायरेक्टेड किस्म की
Hmm.
लेंडिंग होती थी एसएमईज को, कि हुकूमत से और रेगुलेटर से बड़ा प्रेशर होता था कि यार टारगेट्स होते थे ये करने हैं. But now it's like banks have also realized, particularly the medium sized
हाँ.
banks, at medium sized banks में तो it's like more of their own initiative,
Hmm.
because the cost of deposits for medium-sized bank is always higher than the cost of deposits of these very big
Hmm.
banks. Okay, and the deployment avenues is not only limited to government securities. So
Hmm.
we have to, banks of our
Hmm.
size have to find avenues where we are able to make slightly better spreads. And that can only happen if we basically start deploying into
Hmm.
sectors where risk is slightly higher,
Hmm.
underwriting efforts are slightly more,
Hmm.
but reward is better.
Hmm.
So that is basically the incentive for mid-sized banks like us.
Hmm.
But now in the last 3-4 years, I was actually a part of the PBA's task force as well. I was heading that task
Hmm.
force,
Which is
which was
Pakistan Banking.
Pakistan Banking Association.
Hmm.
This was set up a couple of years back,
Hmm.
which basically was supposed to come up with recommendations in
Hmm.
regulatory framework, particularly the prudential regulations, which we did. And based on those changes, a lot of good things have happened in the sense that a couple of years back, the total outstanding exposure of to SMEs was around 600 billion, okay, which is now over a trillion rupees. So I
Hmm.
think that's basically a very positive sign. There was
Hmm.
an increase of almost like 150,000 new borrowers.
Hmm.
So that's a positive sign. And I think now bigger banks have also started building their portfolios.
Hmm. Hmm. And any particular sector or sectors you see in Pakistan where you say they are SME, but it's worth investing and lending?
Yeah, as far as SME is concerned, it's very diverse.
Hmm.
Okay, You talk about textiles. There are SMEs which are providing, which are part of the textile value chain.
Hmm.
Then you talk about engineering
Hmm.
in every sector, like if you talk about electronics, white goods manufacturers,
Hmm.
automobiles, assembly. Every sector has a number of vendors, small or medium scale,
Hmm.
which are supplying various parts to them. So
Hmm.
that is also there.
Hmm.
Then you have a massive retail
Hmm.
and wholesale
Hmm.
SME sector, which are involved in trading
Hmm.
at a retail level as well as wholesale sector,
Hmm.
wholesale level. Then you have a lot of SMEs which are involved in the agri
Hmm.
side. Okay, so it's basically your own appetite, the kind of outreach or
Hmm.
footprint that a particular institution has, which enables them to cater to a particular sector or target those sectors.
Okay, amazing. So now so from Raji Bank heading SME and then
Then it was Standard Chartered.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I joined
Yes,
Standard Chartered
in Pakistan.
in Pakistan. So
Huh.
worked with the Standard Chartered for a couple of years again on the SME side. SME, I was just when we were starting before starting this session, I was just informally telling you, I've never planned things.
Huh.
I've always gone with the flow.
Huh.
So I'm not a, I never would have thought that I would be doing SME and SME
Huh.
development first and academic side and then
Huh.
conducting research and then moving into SME as in like offering developing financial products and then actually managing
Huh.
portfolios. But this somehow got attached with my personality, and since then I've been carrying it. Although I've been doing a lot of diverse roles now, because at very senior roles, you're not looking after only one sector.
Huh.
So in my existing even role, SME is just one vertical that I'm looking after. I've
Yes.
got consumer banking under me. I've got distribution. I've got digital banking and so forth. So, but still, somehow SME. Whenever somebody talks about SME, they say, "Oh, okay, this guy knows SME,"
Huh.
although I'm still learning. So that somehow,
Huh.
fortunately or unfortunately, now it has become a part of my
Your
career.
expertise.
Yeah, expertise. Although I don't claim to be an expert in
Huh.
SMEs, but
But I'm sure, yeah, I
so
mean, you've
yeah,
spent enough
yeah.
time and setting it up, so that's a great experience. And then from Standard Chartered moving,
Standard Chartered. Now this is my second stint with JS. I
okay,
was with JS Bank in 2008.
okay,
I was a part of the retail team. At that point in time when I joined JS, it had only 4 branches. Okay,
ah,
it was a very
huh.
JS came into existence in 2006-7
Yeah,
by acquiring American
yes,
Express's operations in Pakistan.
yes,
So it was they never had a retail setup. So I was
hmm,
a part of the retail team. I was looking after their strategy as well as marketing and
hmm,
products. So we developed the as a team we developed the retail expansion plan for the bank. That was done, and then I was based out of Lahore. I was given the additional role to set up or manage the distribution
hmm,
side, or in fact establish first and
huh.
then
Then,
manage the
yeah,
distribution side, because the distribution channel was non-existent. There were no branches there, like
hmm,
couple of branches were functional. So in the central region, which
huh,
is Punjab
huh,
primarily, starting from Rahim Yar Khan here down to Jhelum.
hmm.
So that was the region where I was made responsible to set up the distribution channel. So that is how I ventured into
JS Bank.
JS Bank and distribution. Then after 2.5 years, I left JS Bank and joined First Microfinance Bank.
Hmm,
Nowadays it's HPL Microfinance
hmm,
Bank. Joined that as a chief operating officer. But again, this was like, if you could just see that, either the roles that I've done is like, very new
hmm,
organizations which were like in their infancy, a
hmm,
very nascent stage of
hmm,
development, and one is supposed to work to develop the organization or setting up new initiatives.
huh,
And then finally, it was like, fixing something which is not working.
huh,
So that was First Microfinance Bank.
huh,
So that was an institution which was set up. It was primarily, it transitioned from AKRSP's financial side, was transitioned into First Microfinance Bank. Uh, so that was also an institution which has had its own share of challenges, never made money.
hmm,
It was not sustainable. But I was given the opportunity to lead the distribution side
hmm,
as chief operating officer along with other roles. and we as a team in 3.5 years time, we were able to put it back on the rails. So it became a sustainable institution. In fact, when I joined, I still remember this was 2010. I joined in April or May, and August 2010 they were like massive floods.
Hmm.
Yeah, and again, our exposure was in South Punjab and Sindh. So all of
The
the
areas were
areas
affected.
were
Huh?
affected. Almost 85% of the portfolio got affected. So you can just imagine that I've recently joined an organization, and then suddenly in 2 months
Then
time
this
I
is your
figure out that
portfolio.
there's no portfolio now. It's all
Yeah.
gone, and we have to rebuild,
Yes.
recover, and all those things. But again, it was a great learning. So I got to learn a lot about the way people behave in such times, and how to manage people in time of difficulty, and how to come up with solutions rather than keep on thinking about the
Huh.
problems. So those are the kind of things that help you as well as a person develop.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then you rejoined JS Bank.
No, I went to Kenya.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. After working for 5 years with First Microfinance Bank, I worked in Kenya as a deputy managing director for a microfinance bank, Rafiki Microfinance Bank. Again, it was a similar kind of a thing, issue, challenges. So I was handpicked from there, headhunted for again turning around an organization in Zambia. So I worked after working for a couple of years in Kenya. I worked in Zambia for a couple of years, heading a microfinance bank. Again, it was by a stroke of luck. I was able to. We were as a team. We were able to turn it around. Then I appointed. I said, I've been traveling a lot because I was there alone all by myself. Every 40
Hmm.
days I used to travel to Pakistan, and there are no direct flights, and a
No,
lot
so you
of
would travel
it
via
was like
Dubai, huh?
via Dubai, and the flights were as such that a lot of time was
Hmm.
spent in layovers, 16, 17 hours of layover, and it's like pretty taxing. So then they offered me that you what do you want to do? I said, I can help you appoint my successor in the team, and I can assist you with at the board level as a consultant. So I worked with them for 6 months in that capacity. उसमें पैसे भी बड़े अच्छे
Hmm.
बन जाते थे आई वाज अर्निंग इन डॉलर्स तो
Huh.
तो वो
Huh.
पैसे भी अच्छे बनते थे तो बंदे को वो होता है और उसके बाद देन दे ऑफर्ड मी अ पोजीशन इन युगांडा because it was a network
Hmm.
of microfinance institutions all over Africa. So they said, we have a similar institution and we have to fix that. I said, I'm done with it now. I
Done
can't do that.
fixing.
Yeah, yeah, done fixing. So now I know microfinance inside out.
Huh.
I've worked in Pakistan, I've worked in Africa. So I'm going to come up with my own microfinance bank. Yeah.
Oh.
So I came back to Pakistan. Um, uh, in 2018, the elections happened. So
Uh-huh.
I appointed a team, and we were like a couple of friends who used to be colleagues earlier as well. So it was my idea that we'll set up an institution of our own. We'll get sweat equity, and obviously there would be
Yeah.
investors who would actually do funding. But unfortunately, in 2018, in the elections happened at that point in time. New
Yeah.
government came
Yeah.
into yeah at the helm of the affairs. But suddenly 6 महीने जो इनिशियल थे उस गवर्नमेंट के उसमें बड़ी अनसर्टनिटी थी
Huh.
फाइनेंशियल साइड पे
Huh.
स्पेशली तो उसमें नो इम्पैक्ट इन्वेस्टर वाज टेकिंग वेरी पॉजिटिव व्यू इन पाकिस्तान इन्वेस्टर्स वर वेरी skeptical that
Yeah.
what's going
Yeah.
to happen.
Hmm.
So I had actually hired a team of young chaps from LAMS
Hmm.
जिन्होंने ताज़ा ताज़ा ग्रेजुएट किया था हमने पूरा अपने पिच डेक्स वगैरह बनाए कॉन्सेप्ट पे ये वो सारा कुछ किया बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली दैट डिड नॉट
Hmm.
take off. So then I landed up at an organization called Nemat Collateral. This was basically the first of its kind again, coming up with the EWR, electronic warehouse receipts. So that's basically where, farmers can place their produce, and so that, what happens is the typical agriculture cycle is when the crop is harvested, there's a glut in the market, the prices go down. But
Acha.
if you don't have the storage capacity, you sell in a distressed price
Hmm.
cycle. But if you have some storage facility available, you can wait for a couple of months time, the prices go up.
Acha.
Okay, so that can give you additional premium on your product.
Hmm.
This is what we are unable to do in Pakistan, but we rolled that initiative out again, sort of a um क्या कहते हैं उसको,
Starting
बिल्कुल
from scratch.
starting from scratch, develop the systems, did the वेयर हाउसेज की उसमें वो होनी थी, उनके साथ एक्रेडिटेशन वगैरह वो की,
हाँ.
रोल आउट भी करवाया. But after working for a year and a half, I was, offered a position at JS Bank.
Mm.
So I joined JS Bank.
And initially, you were when you joined the second time, the
Yeah,
JS Bank, you
yeah.
were looking after
I was looking after products and marketing
products and
as
marketing.
chief product and marketing officer.
अच्छा, and when they appointed you as chief operating officer, तो
Yeah.
उन्होंने problem statement, because obviously you're a fixer, so board ने
Yeah,
क्या
not a
कहा कि
fixer. So we had our own
हाँ
sort of challenges. The
हाँ
thing is that we wanted to change the focus of the team.
अच्छा
Okay, we were like an organization which used to rely heavily on high cost deposits. Okay, there was like overall thinking within the organization was not bottom line driven.
okay
Okay, it was like more balance sheet driven.
hmm
So that was something that we wanted to change.
hmm
We wanted to reactivate. In fact, this was something that I had a discussion with the president and the board, that we have to work in areas where we are able to earn better spreads.
hmm
So consumer was an area where
hmm
we could
hmm
do that. So we started actively soliciting consumer
hmm
business. Mortgages was something which was, we started off with that, although we were doing mortgages but a very small scale.
hmm
But then we started picking up pace, and we acquired a significant share of the market.
hmm
Similarly, in other consumer products like autos and other government schemes, they were like good spreads to be earned, like PMYBL, which was a very good scheme. So we developed our own niche where we started lending to the logistics sector. So
hmm
that was a very big portfolio. In fact, after Bank of Punjab, we were the largest private sector
hmm
bank in the league of all these big banks.
hmm
JS Bank was the largest
hmm
after a public sector bank. So these are the kind of things that we developed. Then we started revamping the branches,
hmm
the overall structure.
So
Uh,
when you say revamping, was it more brick and
it's
mortar,
no,
or
no,
was
no.
it
Brick and mortar was
hmm
has
hmm
it's like a big debate.
hmm
I set up this digital thing, branchless banking
huh
in
and you
Kenya
also
for
talk
web
about
bank. Yeah,
cashless
exactly.
banking,
Cash.
huh?
Yeah, but the thing is that whatever we do, we can't take out branches from the existing way, the way we do banking right now,
Hmm.
because of the kind of structural issues with the economy.
Hmm.
Our economy is still reliant on cash.
Hmm.
Okay, whatever we say, obviously there is what the total volume of transactions that are done annually is around 6 billion.
Hmm.
Okay, out of that, 80% of the transactions are now being done digitally, which is a very good thing.
Is it? Which is
Yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah,
Huh.
that's very good. This
Huh.
transaction has happened in the last 10-15 years.
Huh.
This is very good, encouraging. But on the flip side, 70% of the volume is still over the counter transactions, whereby bulky cash is still being dealt by the
Hmm.
branches. So cash is still a very major element within our economy. So till the time we are able to reduce that, it won't be possible to do away with
Hmm.
branches. So I think that is something now we have to learn as bankers and as consumers as well, that we branches and digital has to coexist.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not either branches or either digital.
Yeah.
So it is like coexistence. You have to have a very balanced kind of a strategy.
Yeah. And do you think this behavior, and especially the younger generation and the way people are doing business right now,
Mhm.
eventually will be cashless? Because it's not an impossible target, but obviously we are seeing it in developed economies, in
Mm,
European
mm,
countries
mm.
and Scandinavian countries. Uh, what is the future of cashless banking, or less branches here in Pakistan from your perspective?
I think it's a very difficult question to ask, because few months back, like 6-7 months back, I just was reading an article that even JP Morgan Chase is opening up, like
Yes, in the
branches
US,
in the
yes.
US.
Huh.
US. So they were like, they're also over that phase where they said it's brick and mortar is phasing out, and
Huh.
it's not. Now they've realized that there's a segment of customers
Hmm.
which is like high net worth individuals, affluent and mass affluent. These customers still like to go to branches.
Hmm.
Okay, and that is not changing anytime sooner. So that's basically the case with Pakistan. Obviously, these smaller tickets or
Hmm.
smaller transactions, these have transitioned.
Hmm.
Okay, as I was telling you, that out of those 6 billion transactions per annum, it's like 80% is still digital, okay, which is a big thing. But again, there is a need to have the branches there. It's going to change. I'm not too sure whether it's going to change in the next 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years. But it's not going to change anytime sooner. At this point in time, all the major banks are opening up branches.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
here
yeah,
to
yeah,
we,
here.
huh.
Yeah. So it was like, even 10 years, 15 years back, majority of the banks thought that, it's going to phase out. That has not happened. So majority of the flows coming for, deposits are still routed through branches. And even in terms of lending, it's like, branch still plays a pivotal role. Okay, as far as digital is concerned, our focus is there. We invested in our own digital bank, which is basically a bank within a bank, you can say. It's a part of JS Bank. It's called Zindagi. Okay, so that's done good. We have been investing heavily there. So we have, acquired what, 5 million customers there, close to.
Acha.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then,
and is it like full-fledged, like from LCs and all, or is
no,
it
no, no,
just
no,
mostly?
it's a more to do. LCs, since we are a bank,
Huh.
those customers are still not there on
Huh.
wallets and
Huh.
all those things, but we have been able to acquire customers through payroll management,
Okay. Yeah.
then offering them nano loans.
Huh.
So
Huh.
these are
Huh.
the kind of
Huh.
things that we
Huh.
have
So
started
personal
doing.
accounts.
Okay, so payment products and personal accounts, and even access to mutual funds, stock
Acha.
market, and
Huh.
all
Huh. Huh.
those things have been integrated and embedded in the
Huh.
app. So it's more of a super app kind of a thing, whereby you're able to do everything
Huh.
that you intend to do, but
Okay.
at a lower scale in terms of smaller tickets.
Yeah. Now, let's describe Atif as a leader, because as a chief operating officer, on one hand, everything comes under you, but also at the same time, nothing comes under you, because you have to sort of deliver through people and through people, right?
Yeah.
Um, so what's the trick here? What's the learning? Because one thing I can say, I mean, we've met briefly, you do, and then you mentioned the kind of projects or assignments you've taken. You like challenging assignment, but somehow you are still very relaxed, and you sort of you don't take it very seriously,
Yeah,
which is
that's
amazing.
yeah.
So I mean, firstly, is it true, or deep down jab raat ko sota I'm like, "Ye kya-" you're
No,
nervous,
I'm
but
a very serious person, but obviously, at the
huh.
same time, I at a certain point in time, I stopped worrying about certain things,
Yeah, actually, I
because
meant worrying.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
mean to say you're
yeah,
not. Of course, you'll be,
yeah.
but my point is you
No,
don't.
no, I'm a very fun person as well. Yeah,
Huh,
I'm a people's person.
huh.
I can't sit, being very serious for a very long period of time. Like, I need a break. I need,
Hmm,
a blast of laughter or something of the sort, a joke on
hmm.
which I can laugh. And,
Yeah.
I'm not a very serious person, so to say. But when it comes to business, obviously,
Yes.
one has to
Hmm,
be serious. So it's a very difficult thing to answer. I think my management style is very inclusive.
hmm,
Okay, the way my career has worked, it's like, people taking a call on me.
hmm,
Okay, probably I was not the sharpest.
hmm,
Probably I was not the most intelligent person
hmm,
in any room.
hmm,
But some people saw something in me.
hmm,
So that is something that I believe in,
hmm,
and that is what I've continued to do.
hmm,
In now at senior levels, this is what I do. I take
hmm,
punt on people.
hmm,
Okay, because it's academic degrees have a lot to do, but then there are certain strengths of people. If you are able to identify those strengths and make people build on those strengths, then I think you can find a very good combination
hmm.
in a team where you can actually make them deliver.
But then, how do you balance the performance pressure, especially in the financial sector where it's cutthroat, right? So while you want to see the best in everyone, but you also got to deliver. How do you recommend people to balance that?
No, no, I'm a very competitive person.
Hmm.
I'm a very good, this is what I've learned through various mentors and various
Hmm.
leaders or various bosses to whom I was reporting to in my career.
Hmm.
And, people who were like very serious within, as far as business is concerned, once that discussion is over, it was like a heated discussion. They used
Hmm.
to have heated arguments, whatever. उसके बाद जैसी कमरे से बाहर आए और उसके बाद normal. So
Hmm.
this is something that I've learned over the years, that I I'm friends with everybody within the organization. All my direct reports are very good friends. Even one level below my direct reports, it's like, even uh,
Yeah.
uh, they're very good friends with me. I'm very accessible.
Hmm.
जब भी चाहें आ सकते हैं, मेरे से मिल लेते हैं. No appointments needed. But when it comes to business,
Hmm.
I'm a different person.
Hmm.
So they know that. So
Huh.
I've been able to distinguish between personal
So creating that
friendship and
boundary.
yeah, exactly. And that is the most important thing that one person
Hmm.
learns. A lot of people don't even learn at my age,
Hmm.
but I'm lucky that I've been able to learn that. And you know what contributed to this learning was my career, the diversity in the career and geographic diversity and dealing with various cultures. Because in those cultures you have to have these set these boundaries. अफ्रीका में काम करने के बाद जहाँ पे आपका कोई ना रिश्तेदार होता है ना कोई और वो होता है, आप सिर्फ डिफरेंट एक दुनिया में बैठे होते हैं और वहाँ पे आप अगर सीनियर लेवल पे ऑपरेट कर रहे होते हैं तो कुछ लोग आपको पसंद करते हैं और कुछ आपको नहीं भी पसंद करते. सो यू हैव टू कम टू टर्म्स विद इट कि ये नहीं होता कि सीईओ बन के आपको सारे पसंद करेंगे.
So you've got to live with that, and there's no popularity contest.
पॉपुलैरिटी कॉन्टेस्ट है नहीं और आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि लोग आपके बारे में बातें भी करते होंगे जिस तरह हम अपने बॉसेस के बारे में बातें करते थे जब हम मिड लेवल मैनेजमेंट में होते थे तो करते थे ना. तो वो है. बट आप अगर अपने सब्जेक्ट पे आपको कंट्रोल होगा, कमांड होगी, देन यू विल स्टार्ट अर्निंग देयर रिस्पेक्ट. दूसरा आई एम्पावर पीपल. ओके, मेरे लिए बड़ा मुश्किल होता था बिकॉज मैं बहुत आई यूज्ड टू बी अ वर्कहॉलिक. बहुत टाइम मैं दफ्तर में स्पेंड किया करता था. तभी शायद लोगों ने कॉल भी ली मेरे ऊपर, कह रहे इसको दे दो, काम करता रहेगा, पागल टाइप का. तो आई यूज्ड टू स्पेंड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम एट द ऑफिस. तो मेरे लिए बड़ा मुश्किल था ट्रांजिशन करना कि मैं लोगों को डेलीगेट करूं. फिर ऐसे लोगों को वो परफेक्शनिस्ट बन जाते हैं कि यार जो काम मैं करता हूँ ना वही बेस्ट होता है. देन यू आफ्टर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम यू लर्न कि भाई ये इस तरह तो डिलीवरी नहीं हो सकती. इफ यू वांट टू ग्रो you need to stop loving perfection
and let go.
Let go or stop loving perfection. It's like at times it becomes the enemy of good work कि perfection के चक्कर में आप वो जो अच्छा काम होता है वो भी नहीं कर सकते. So ये चीज़ें सीखी और बड़ी सिंपल तरीके से ज़िंदगी गुजारने की कोशिश करता हूँ ऑफिस में. So it's like accessibility, empowerment and try to, मैं कोई वो तो फरिश्ता तो हूँ नहीं, but try to decide things on merit and decide quickly.
That's another very good one.
Rather than मेरे पास कोई चीज़ लेके आता है तो I try to evaluate the problem, come up with the problem statement and then try to find solutions. Majority of the time what happens in very senior level meetings is that we start discussing the problem time and again. But people fail to come up with solutions because people lack the confidence of offering that solution because अगर वो backfire कर जाएगा तो responsibility आ जाएगी. So primarily corporate sector में बहुत ज़्यादा लोग shy away करते हैं responsibility लेने से. They want to play safe. This is not what I do.
And you think this has probably been the reason that you've been successful?
Probably.
Because
I'm not a very risk averse in the sense कि मैं कूद जाता हूँ इस किस्म की situation में. I can take a call, which a lot of people are reluctant to. So that has probably played a role.
And what I think you've already mentioned some tips like empowering people, finding the best, but also being laser focused on performance and delivery. Typically, and since I do coaching and I've been in HR and also my own leadership journey, leading through others is always a difficult transition, right? Even when I look back on my journey.
Yeah.
So if somebody watching this podcast and they are leading through others, what would you tell them that, when should they be worried and when should they let go?
देखिए वरी तो अगर आप करेंगे किसी भी चीज़ में you will never be able to find viable solutions for that particular problem. Worrying would never help. Obviously there has to be a certain level of anxiety. Anxiousness होनी चाहिए कि चीज़ जिस तरह से आप
और
प्लान करें.
healthy
stress and anxiousness, that is important. Okay, but my take on this is that there are two types of leaders. One category of leaders is that like to develop followers. Okay, and there is another category of leaders which like to develop leaders. So if you are focusing on developing leaders, then you would actually be inculcating that spirit within the team.
So what is the difference? I love this, but what is the
difference? Is very simple, that followers are the people that who blindly follow a leader. Okay, whatever the leader says, that's basically something that is gospel of God for them. Okay, ये उन्होंने कह दिया बस यही है.
So they won't apply
ठीक
their
है,
own critical thinking,
exactly.
their own decision.
So
Boss ने कहा और
हाँ
कर
कहा,
दिया.
बॉस को बाजूकात कहना भी पड़ता है.
Hmm.
मतलब sometimes you have to take a call. It's not a democracy always working in any corporate environment. But दूसरी साइड पे जब आप when you start developing people, they develop their own critical thinking.
Hmm.
ठीक है, वो अपने आप को डेवलप करते हैं फिर, because you have empowered them, because you have given them leeway, so they would start even questioning you at times. And this is what happens to me as well. I get questioned, but then I have to draw a line that this is okay, enough of questions now, but I believe that this is how we should proceed, so this is my call.
So you
Because at
listen to
time,
everyone,
exactly,
allow everyone to
yeah,
question, and then
yeah,
decide the
make it
direction.
very inclusive.
हाँ.
एंड देन सो दैट दे हैव कॉन्फिडेंस. और सबसे बड़ी चीज़ ये होती है, हम लोग अक्सर शाये इसलिए हो जाते हैं कि यार ये अगर मैंने कोई गलत बात कर दी किसी मीटिंग रूम में तो मेरा मजाक उड़ाएंगे कि यार ये क्या बेवकूफ़ाना बात की है. नो राइट एंड रॉन्ग आंसर्स. ठीक है, सो वो आपने उनकी इनहिबिशन खत्म करनी होती है. देन दे स्टार्ट स्पीकिंग एंड देन दे बिकम लीडर्स देमसेल्व्स. So that is the difference.
Okay. What is it that you sort of learned a little later in your career? Probably a mistake you made early in your career and you learned later and you said, I could have done it differently.
Patience.
So tell me a little bit.
बहुत इम्पेशेंट आदमी होता था मैं, वेरी एग्रेसिव.
अच्छा.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, बहुत लड़ाइयाँ कर लेता था लोगों से, और बड़े सीनियर लेवल पे.
अच्छा.
लड़ाइयाँ करके नौकरियाँ भी छोड़ देता था कि ये बात मेरी मर्जी के मुताबिक नहीं हो रही.
Oh.
आई यूज्ड टू बी वेरी रिजिड पर्सन. अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल स्टिल से दिस थिंग अबाउट मी.
Amazing self-awareness and thank you for
हाँ,
being
आई
so
यूज्ड टू बी अ
open.
वेरी रिजिड पर्सन.
हाँ.
और लड़के नौकरियाँ भी छोड़ी ईगो के चक्कर में, कहते हैं ये मेरे साथ कैसे हो सकता है. सो दैट इज समथिंग दैट आई हैव लर्नड ओवर द इयर्स, दैट यू हैव टू. देखें, एक एज होती है जब चीज़ें सिर्फ ब्लैक एंड वाइट में नजर आती हैं बंदे को. But then with maturity, with experiences of life, you figure out कि there is a shade of grey as well. हर चीज़ black और white में नहीं होती.
हाँ.
So that is what I think I've learned over
You've
the
learned
last few
over
years. But अभी भी आप कुछ लोगों से पूछेंगे तो मेरे बारे में जो मुझे जानते हैं वो कहेंगे ये अभी भी काफ़ी जो है impatient सा आदमी है.
हाँ.
थोड़ी सी है वो, obviously सारी चीज़ें
हाँ.
old habits die hard.
हाँ.
वो एकदम तो सारी ख़त्म नहीं
हाँ.
हो सकती, but still I feel कि it has improved a lot.
Okay. No, thank you. And the fact you're sort of talking about it so nicely, it means that there is that self-awareness. We have a final round,
Yeah.
which is called a rapid fire round.
Yeah.
And it's really popular, so you don't have to think, whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
Number one, Bitcoin or traditional card?
It's a matter of time. At this point in time, obviously card, but at a later stage, probably Bitcoin.
Okay. Best banking advice you ever ignored?
Best banking advice I ever ignored. And like for my career or?
For your career, for portfolio development, for customer
Oh,
development?
I can't think of any. It's like,
No?
no, nobody has advised me ever. I don't listen to advice. It's better. This is what I told you. I am a,
That's a good one, yeah. So, okay. One word to describe Pakistan's business scene, especially in the small and medium enterprise.
yeah, it's very encouraging.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic about it. Yeah.
Analytics or gut instinct?
Both, combination of both.
Yeah.
At times, yeah, at times, I'm a very numbers driven person, analytics primarily. But then at times you are not at liberty or you don't have the flexibility to do a lot of analysis.
Huh.
So you have to take a call.
The most overrated word that is currently being used in the banking sector? I know one.
Most overrated work that is currently
Word.
word.
Huh.
It's primarily AI.
I was going to say AI.
Yeah,
Everything.
AI. Yeah, everybody.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Acha, if you weren't in banking, you would be?
I would be a chef.
And what kind of cuisine?
Every cuisine.
Huh?
I cook, by the way.
And what's your signature dish?
It's like everything. I cook everything like biryani, Chinese, any continental steaks.
And good.
That's
Your wife must be happy.
I can eat it. My son eats it. My wife eats it. So I think it's
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 okay.
edible.
It's edible.
It's edible. Let's put it this way.
Okay. One Pakistani industry you think is going to surprise everyone in the near future?
One Pakistani industry. It's probably something related to IT.
IT.
That's something
And the
that
tech
we have.
sector.
Yeah, exactly. although people keep on saying that with AI this thing is going to transition totally because developers और ये सारी
हाँ
चीज
हाँ
जो है वो तो उस पे चली गई है generative पे, but I still feel that there's a lot of yeah
scope there.
yeah
Thank you so much for joining us. It was wonderful to have you.
no, same here, thank you, and I never felt that we've already gone past 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.